My name's Joe. I'm 30 years old, and I've been a professional photographer for about 5 years now. My favorite thing about photography is I truly get to show people who they are. You kind of get this window into their lives, and you get an opportunity to tell their stories. Personally, I look at it as I'm more of a people person that knows how to operate a camera than like a really artsy photographer guy. Like when I take these off, people are immediately confused. They think this guy's a salesman. And then when they're back on, I'm an artist.
Oh, that's perfect, buddy.
I grew up in a pretty crazy house. I'll go toe to toe with anybody who's got a crazier family. I was very lucky to still have Jesus introduced to me when I was a kid, but there was a lot of other things that were happening inside of my household that were going against that. And me being the baby of my family, I just pretty much had slipped through the cracks. I really had this hole inside of me, and I really just wanted to feel good. And for me, that looked like turning to drugs and just reaching for all these things to try to fit in this hole to make it feel right, and obviously nothing was doing the trick. I made some really bad decisions for a time there, and luckily it got to a point where I wanted to really make some concrete changes in my life. One day, my roommate asked if I wanted to go to church with him. And I went, and it just really opened up a whole new world to me. I'd say for the first time in my life, I was confronted with a spiritual hunger. I really found myself wanting to know more about Jesus, to dig deeper. I had seen a little bit of what he had in store for me, and I really wanted to just pull the curtain back on it. And the more and more I discovered, the hungrier I got. There were a lot of big changes that happened along the way, but really more than anything, it was a lot of small changes. I had found a mentor, and that really changed things. I really had to get in God's word and, see what he was saying. I really had to spend time in prayer and going to church every Sunday. It just became an appetizer. It wasn't the main course anymore. I definitely realized early on that things are just amplified with Jesus. You can do so much more. And really, without him, you feel like you're an astronaut drifting through space and you've got 30 minutes left on your oxygen, I'm always kind of looking for opportunities for God to really use me where I'm needed most. And about 2 years ago, I got a phone call out of the blue. This woman said, I'm a social worker, and this family wants you to come photograph them. She said, before you say yes, I want you to know that they have a 6-year-old boy, and his name's Isaac. And he's passing away very quickly. I knew at that moment that that's when God was telling me, are you ready to go? Because this is it. So I entered this home that was supposed to be filled with grief, but it was the most love I'd ever felt in my entire life. And I started taking family photos. And you can hear Isaac's mother let a sigh of relief out as the shutter is clicking, because that's the last thing that she wanted was family pictures. She just wanted one more picture with her boy. I thought I'd be there for 60 minutes. I was there for about 5 hours. And then I asked if I could go in and sit with Isaac. And they had laid him down in his room because it had kind of been a long day. So I went in there and I knelt next to his bed and I prayed with Isaac, and I wept uncontrollably that day. I don't think I'd ever cried so hard in my entire life. Sitting there holding this 6-year-old boy's hands, knowing that he was about to leave this earth. Isaac was the closest thing to Jesus I think I've ever met in a physical form. When I left Isaac's house, I felt like I had this audible conversation with God. Like he was sitting in the car next to me, and he basically gave me a nudge and said, "This is what I made you for." Then the days following after Isaac had passed away, I had called his parents. I said, I'm thinking about starting this nonprofit and doing this for other families all over the country and free of charge. And I want to name it after your son and call it the Isaac Initiative. What do you think? and it was just tears on their ends. God made it clear that this is my purpose in life. Photography was my passion, but this is what he truly intended for it. That's my purpose for my life. Since the Isaac Initiative has started, really, my faith has grown exponentially. I mean, he's really been at the center of everything that we've done there. And once I really felt like I was in my groove with my relationship with God, everything changed in life. It was like all the colors were different. It was like a small muscle that I've been training that all of a sudden was just like fit, that little voice that I was hearing for so long, it became more audible to me. I don't know, that's pretty amazing to me.